Today, we're going to talk about a concept that is everywhere, psychological safety. But here's the thing. What if the way we usually think about it is actually a trap? What if it's holding your team back from doing their best work?
I mean, it's the question every single leader asks themselves, right? How do you actually get the best out of your people? What's the secret sauce?
And look, for good reason. You see the benefits written about all the time. It's kind of become the default answer for how you build a great team culture.
Okay, so let's really dig into this, because what if focusing only on safety is actually a recipe for, well, mediocrity? The real story is so much more interesting and, honestly, a lot more powerful.
So first, let's just make sure we're on the same page. At its core, psychological safety is all about taking fear out of the workplace. It's that feeling, that you can raise your hand with a crazy idea, admit you messed up, and your team isn't going to throw you under the bus.
And when you nail this, the results are just incredible. It's a total game changer. Innovation explodes because people aren't afraid to fail. Collaboration becomes genuine because people can be honest. It's the perfect environment for great ideas and great people to really flourish.
But, and this is a big but, here's the twist. What happens when you aim only for safety and you forget its essential partner? Well, you walk straight into a trap.
You end up with this huge problem, a phenomenon called pathological kindness. It's this place where being nice is more important than anything else, including the truth, including critical feedback, including the tough conversations you need to have to solve hard problems.
In this comfort zone, performance just stalls. Errors get ignored because nobody wants to have an awkward conversation. And you know what the real poison is? Your best people, your high performers, they start to check out. They get frustrated watching average work get a free pass, all in the name of harmony.
So, this is the most important point of all. Psychological safety isn't the whole story. It's just one half of a really powerful equation. The other half, the part you absolutely cannot skip, is accountability.
Okay, now this chart right here is where it all clicks into place. Let's walk through it. Down in the bottom left, low safety, low accountability, that's the apathy zone. Nobody cares, nothing gets done. Bottom right, you've got high accountability but zero safety. Hello, anxiety zone. Everyone is terrified of making a mistake. Now, a lot of well-meaning teams end up in the top left, the comfort zone. It feels nice, but it's not great. The magic, the place where real excellence happens, is that top right quadrant, the high performance zone.
So what does this look like in the real world, where the stakes are incredibly high? Let's take a look at the world of artificial intelligence development. Getting this balance wrong there can have some pretty massive consequences.
This just shows you the danger perfectly. Imagine an engineer spots a serious bias in an algorithm, but the culture is all about hitting deadlines and not making waves, so they stay quiet. That flaw gets baked into the system, and suddenly you've released a harmful product to the public. You see? A lack of safety isn't just a culture problem, it's a direct pipeline to disaster.
Fear creates this culture where it's safer to hide mistakes than to learn from them. Critical thinking gets silenced, human oversight is seen as a bottleneck, and cutting corners becomes the norm, all to avoid a difficult conversation.
So the big question is, how do you do it? As a leader, how do you actually build that culture of high safety and high accountability and get your team into that high-performance zone?
Honestly, it starts with you. Your behavior sets the tone. Everything on the left, punishing mistakes, micromanaging, blaming, that stuff creates fear. It just shuts people down. But the actions on the right, actively listening, inviting different points of view, even admitting when you're wrong, that's what builds the trust you need to hold people to high standards.
The ultimate goal is to build something called challenger safety. This isn't just about feeling safe enough to fit in. No, this is about creating an environment where people feel safe enough to challenge things, to challenge the status quo, to challenge each other, to challenge you, because that's where the real breakthroughs happen.
So here are 5 things you can literally start doing tomorrow. Go first, be vulnerable and admit your own mistakes. Frame hard work as a chance to learn, not a test to be passed. When somebody brings you bad news, thank them for their honesty. And this one is huge. When someone has the courage to raise a tough issue, celebrate them publicly. Show everyone that's what you value.
So if you take one thing away, let it be this. The goal of psychological safety is not to make people feel comfortable. The goal is to make people feel safe enough to do the uncomfortable, demanding, and relentless work that excellence requires. And so I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. When you really honestly look at your team, at how they talk to each other, how they handle failure, what they achieve, which zone are they really in? Are they just getting by in the comfort zone? paralyzed in the anxiety zone, or are you building a true high-performance zone?